What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph Brocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
And Brograph is a podcast that's a supplement to our site, brograph.com, with tutorials, motion graphics, plugins, podcasts, and other MoGraphy stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, and working for the man. And we are in rare form.
Yeah, because it's early. It's not late.
It's early.
So we have had a full night's rest, and we are
That's
ready and raring to go. So if you guys like our energy and our flow on this one,
then that's why.
Yeah, then we're not going to change it.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to go back to the same way next week.
Yeah, so we got Red Bull and coffee in our veins. We just woke up, and last night we didn't do a show because there were tornadoes, and I had no power. Your typical Texas winter.
Yep.
Apparently now.
Yeah.
And
there's no such thing as global warming.
That's right.
Anyway.
That's a different show. Anyway, so we got a nice note from Nick on Twitter who said Bronados are the worst. Meh. Stay safe. So I cleaned this week in my office a bit, and my mood is very enhanced. Remember our conversation last week about your workspace and such?
I clean mine every day, just about. So like I have to have the clean space, otherwise, whatever. So
I do a little bit of straightening up, especially in my desk area, but when the whole office starts to get a little smaller for some reason.
Did you know every time you paint your room, your bedroom gets just a little bit smaller.
Yeah. So, yeah, I felt good, man. I mean, I really cleaned it. I really got rid of some clutter and just kind of rearranged some stuff, and it feels good, bro. Feels good, bro. And
I'm really happy you mounted your TV on the wall. That looks really good. Now, if you could just run those cables through the wall and not make them look so nasty.
That's an outer wall.
No.
Of the house. I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah.
So
drill a few holes through the wall. Through the brick.
Through the brick. So, Gaten DeSimone actually tweeted us and said, reworking my loft space into a full studio. You're right.
That's really awesome.
A good workspace is everything. I'll post a pic when I'm done. So, yeah.
I can't wait until I move out of my parents' house and I actually get like a really nice office.
But you have to specify again. You're not living with your parents. You live
technically
in
right
their
now.
house.
I am. My mom's in town, so I'm technically living in my parents' house.
Right. She's moving. They're moving from where? They're moving from Hawaii to where?
New York City, Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
Lower east, west side. I don't know. It's where it's like the rich area.
It's where the cool people are.
Yeah. So.
So Christmas also is like slowly coming down around here.
Dude, my Christmas has been put up for like a week or two. Man.
But you know how much stuff we have.
Please tell me you don't have like the giant star and like the lights going up to the star still on your front, do you?
Yes, I do.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and you know why? It's because I was going to take it down this weekend, and it just burst down raining, and it was so gross that I didn't get it down. Yeah. The inside is a little different. We've got trees down, we've got stuff. The problem is that I have to find some time to clean closets before I put them back in there, and I'm just lazy.
Get all those skeletons out of those closets.
Yeah.
Get the Halloween stuff out.
And being from Dallas to the Cowboys lost last night.
Yeah. I watched the last 2 minutes. That was it. It was a pretty intense 2 minutes.
That's what I hear. I don't watch the
foosball,
the sports ball.
The sports ball.
But I know that we lost to Beeple.
Yeah. Yeah, Beeple was, I don't know. I can never understand whether he's like happy or sad. Like, and because a lot of people up there, like, you are either a Packers fan or you hate the Packers. Like you either are in love with the Packers and they're your whole life, or you just absolutely despise the Packers.
Well, he wrote on Facebook, Packers at blah, 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 blah.
Right, exactly.
So I'm assuming that was a happy Facebook post.
Right. You can never tell. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I might have passed a channel before the power went out and I saw it on. But man, like,
here's what's stupid. So like, I've got one of those over the air antennas. It's just a cheap one that I bought at Best Buy for like $20, and it works really well. It works really, really well. But for some reason last night I couldn't get the game. Like, I couldn't get the game at all, so I had to go to my other TV that actually has cable and watch it in there. So, anyway.
Those TVs look really good with 240 hertz, though.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Sports looks awesome.
Yeah.
Sports looks really awesome. But anything else looks like butthole.
Dude, I was at my parents' house over Christmas, and they were watching Jingle All the Way with Tim Allen, and he's like up on the roof doing his Christmas lights.
That's awful.
And
what is that, like a month in a row of us doing that?
I know. And so I don't know why Tim Allen keeps coming up in the podcast every week, but they were watching Jingle All the Way. I was like, oh, this movie is awful. And my mom was like, this is like my favorite Christmas movie. And I'm like, it looks so bad. Like, so their TV is like a Vizio or one of those,
Yeah.
And
that's what all my TVs are.
Oh my gosh.
They're good brands.
It was so like, here's the problem I have with 240 hertz is it doesn't say 240 hertz in the menu. It says like movie mode or smoothing or unsmoothing or sports mode. And every TV you have to figure out what it means to turn off the stupid 240 hertz.
Here's what I do. Anytime I get a TV, I go into the settings and I turn every single one of their presets off.
Right.
I do that, and then I set the color mode to just like custom and then adjust my colors myself.
Well, they had this set up not to stretch the regular picture, like the standard def picture all the way. So it was pillar boxed on the sides, number one. They had a weird color mode on it, so it was super yellow and gross looking. And then they had the 240 hertz on top of that, so it looked like a straight up home video of Tim Allen doing Christmas lights. It was so bad. It was so bad, and I was like,
did you walk in and look at the TV and be like,
yeah. It's like, oh my God, I can't look at hertz, and I fixed it for him.
I walked in. Amy was watching TV the other day, apparently this is a common problem with us. I walked in and Amy was watching TV, and it was 4:3 pillar box letterbox.
God.
It was
oh God.
So I walk in, and so she's watching, because we get HD channels along with the SD channels, and so she's watching the SD version letterboxed on a widescreen TV, and I go in and I go, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're watching 4:3 letterbox pillar box. And so then I said, all you got to do, if it looks like this, hit 1000 plus whatever number you're on,
Oh, really?
I said, don't ever let me catch you do that again.
Or else.
I mean, I was joking. But then I was over at my in-laws, and it's the same thing where they're watching letterbox pillar box, and I'm like, oh no, just go to the what is it, Verizon Fios or whatever. You can just hit the little C button down at the bottom, and it'll automatically jump to the HD version.
Right.
I was like, nah, just hit the C button, it'll change it. And he goes, oh no, I can just do this, and then hits the change to widescreen, change to full screen. And I'm like, now you're watching 4:3 pillar box letterbox stretched out to
blown up.
It's awful.
And I'm surprised how many people don't notice. Like, it bugs the crap out of me. And surprisingly, my wife, she actually hates it too. We were watching something on this TV in my office the other day, and it was really washed out, and I was like trying to change the settings, and it was making it go into the 240 hertz mode, and she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, it's awful.
It is awful.
I'm like, yeah, it looks like a play.
Looks like a play.
Yeah. So the sports ball, man. Everybody will finally, everybody's going to be all jazzed up about the Cowboys for a while.
Cowboys, you know what? It's fine. because the Cowboys did a good job this season. I've been saying since the very beginning, once you get rid of Romo, then the Cowboys are going to be good again, and they were. Anyway,
and everybody has something to talk about on Facebook besides Trump, so
except you.
That'll be nice. At least the dead parent memes will die down.
I don't know this dead parent memes. What are you talking about?
So I've been seeing all of these, and they just keep getting more morbid and morbid in a way. And it's like the one I saw the other day was like or share if you wish your parents weren't dead. And I'm like, God, like that's so dark. Like what is going on? Like it's like I saw a few at first that were like, I miss my mom. Okay, like or share if you miss your dead parents. And I'm like, oh my, like it really was like that. And
Okay,
like,
I can get that. No, the way you're saying it makes it sound a whole lot more morbid than like there's probably like a pretty picture of like a flower or like
no, it's
a
words.
Gravestone or something.
No, it's not just like, words.
It's not it's not like two pictures of skulls saying, I wish my parents weren't dead, like or share if you agree.
It's just parents that said, it's just words, big words that said, like or share if you wish your parents weren't dead. And I'm just like, why do you word it that way? That's terrible.
Like, have you seen the nihilistic memes?
I think so, yeah.
Man, those are good. The nihilistic memes. Anyway.
Oh, anyway. Okay, so let's get into some motion graphics talk. The DFW C4D show that we're putting on, it's going super well.
Super excited about it. We got our venue. We went and because our old venue that we had, that we originally booked, they said, oh yeah, we're not busy that night. And then they're like, we call them back and they're like, oh yeah, we're having a live band.
They're like, yeah, okay. But we'll have a live band, but that's okay, right? We're like, no, we're doing presentations, remember?
Yeah,
like,
we're not just meeting up to drink beer.
But since we had it all scheduled for that day,
so then
we had to move it.
Yeah, so we called a whole bunch of different places, and we finally found another bar because we really wanted to go for a bar because we want people to be able to drink and have a good time. We don't want to do it at like a art museum or something because that's just boring.
Or like a hotel ballroom because it's all stuffy and then you have to bring in alcohol and you got to pay for that. And
so anyway, it's at this place called Fox and Hound in Dallas, and we got a bunch of sponsors.
Yeah,
and we've I mean the tickets are free, and so I like saying that we sold a bunch of tickets when in fact we're just giving them away. How many are we up to now?
69.
Oh jeez.
No, really, 69.
Yeah, 69 tickets.
Now, I don't think our wives and a couple of our friends that I know we've talked to that are coming, they haven't signed up. So we're approaching 80 tickets in 3 days.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty good because we did 80 tickets total
80 tickets total last time. So and we're advertising on Facebook. The thing is, it's great because we're sponsoring the event. Maxon is sponsoring the event. iDesign and EJ are sponsoring the event. Grayscale Gorilla is sponsoring the event. We just got MotionWorks to sponsor the event. And we're working on getting a sponsorship from Ranch Computing as well. I just spoke to them today. They called me all the way from France.
Which they said they're good. We just got to figure out what it is, how we're doing it.
Yeah. They were curious how much they wanted to, we wanted them to sponsor, and I said, well, these people are doing this, and so you guys choose whatever.
Yeah.
So
anything.
Anything works, and it's cool because we're gonna have some freaking awesome prizes, which is awesome.
We're gonna have some really good prizes.
Grayscale is giving away a copy of HDR Link, which is awesome.
Is that for sure? Is that what we're doing for sure yet?
I'm pretty sure that's what Chad was saying. I could be wrong.
Nice.
I could be wrong.
He gave a demo on that this week.
Yeah, and we bought it. We bought it. It's good. It's very good. It is a very good plugin. Anyway, we'll move on to that later. We'll hit that up later. Anyway,
don't forget because I think that's the only place I haven't listed.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. Well, I'll talk about it right after this. MotionWorks. is sponsoring a Make It Look Good 11.
Oh, yeah.
The modeling pack. Like, we've talked about that a lot, man. This is going to be that. It is a killer tutorial program. Even just watching the first set of lessons, like, you learn so much about, like, polygon flow and stuff like that. And it will help with modeling so much.
Yeah.
Anyway. And then Fox and Hound, the place where we're actually holding the event, they're going to sponsor some food. So, like, they're going to be giving away some, like, gift cards or something like that, some gift certificates, which is really awesome. And, of course, we're going to be giving away, probably some Brograph Luminous plugins. And we just ordered like $500 in t-shirts. Yeah. So we're going to be giving away some t-shirts.
That's right.
Which, speaking of, I need to email them back because they just sent me a thing.
So there's a buzz on Facebook too. There's a lot of people talking about it in there. A few people who are like, whoa, EJ's going to be there.
Yeah. Is he Skyping in? I was like, no, dude, we're bringing him in. Be there. Straight up.
And then there were two people yesterday. This is one of those small world things, of course. Somebody posts and says, man, I've been looking for a meetup like this in Dallas for a while. And, he posts, and then I look and see, he works for this company where one of my good friends works. And I'm like, dude, Daniel, you got to tell Daniel to come out too. And then this other guy posts, and he's like, oh, hey, so-and-so, I'll see you there. And he's like, whoa, I didn't know you were going to this thing. You're back in Dallas. Let's hang out. I haven't seen you since you got... So it's this small world where, like, everybody is realizing they know each other somehow, and especially in this industry. And it's really exciting, man. The only thing that I want to do is make sure that I'm pushing on Facebook the fact that we have so many people signed up, because I think last time one of the deals was that, like, people looked at the Facebook invite as if it were a register of how many people were going to be there, not the Eventbrite sign up. So they saw, like, 10 people are going, I don't know.
Yeah.
When there were 80 signed up. So I'm going to push that a little bit, and I'm trying to think about what to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, David's presentation is really good. I got to see it up in Washington, D.C., and if he sticks with the same one. But I think his music video is supposed to be done by February 2nd. Is that true?
I think so, yeah.
So, he may be able to show off the whole thing and show off everything that he did. And then, so that's like an hour, and EJ's will probably be about the same. I don't know. I don't even know if we're really going to need to talk, or whether we're just, we could just MC the event and whatever.
Oh, I'm prepping stuff already.
Are you?
I started looking at just a couple small things. I think really my thought is that I really like the splash thing you did with the Real Flow. That could be a great, like, little intro piece to come in and do before I think before David.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking before EJ we get up and maybe do something else.
Yeah.
Sure. I think I would like to talk maybe a little bit of business stuff if possible, or something, because I know that, like, people on the surveys that we did were talking about that, so we should probably have a little bit of that there.
But Barton did such a good job. I have no idea how you're going to top that.
Oh, there's no way to top that.
Yeah,
the only thing I can do is talk about a different subject.
Yeah, you talk about really invoicing.
Yeah.
This is what we use Wave apps. Here it is.
No, yeah, it's I've got some ideas. I think maybe I'll try some of it on the show first. We'll see how it goes.
Cool. Yeah.
But
we got to get those. We're working on tutorials. We've got a whole slew of tutorials that we want to do, but we're working on a small rebrand. Not really like full rebrand.
It's just it's a push.
Well, yeah, it's a push.
It's a push.
So, and we've got to finish up some of those issues first before we got so much to do in the next few months.
Oh, I know. It's so ridiculous.
much. We got big things coming, people. Big things.
And
so
one of the things I'll probably talk about actually at DFWC4D, like is just about networking and other artists, and just why doing these meetups is important. I think that's kind of one of the things I'll hit up in general. I mean, it's not fully a business thing, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
About how do you get to the point? Like, here's one of the questions that people ask when they're new. Like, how do you get to the point where you can do just about anything you want in 3D? They look at people's stuff and they're like, man, how do you get to that point where you can just do that? And because, think about like the Making It Look Great 11.
Yeah.
There's so much knowledge in there. And
dude,
how do you learn all of that stuff?
What's crazy about it is like, I love modeling. If I could do modeling all day, I would do that because I absolutely love modeling. I feel like my abstract stuff and crap like that is not very good, but like I feel like I can model something very, very accurately, and I've had a lot of practice. And like, this is before I even did the Make It Look Good 11 like tutorial series or whatever. Since just watching the first section that I have, like I feel like my modeling has like I'm creating prettier mesh instead of like booling everything.
More efficient, yeah. Yeah, totally. And I think I'm going to kind of tie that into the networking thing. And so how do you get to that point? Repetition and doing things over and over and over again, and making all these different kinds of shapes, like weird extrusions and crazy lofts and lathes and weird bools when you have no other choice. Like, cutting holes in things, learning about bevels and extruding different kinds of fonts. Yeah. That may or may not work right. Building small, intricate scenes or vast landscapes, interior, exterior, nighttime, daytime, organic, mathematical.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Mathematical. So one guy may know everything about like hair or physics.
Yeah.
Like physics of hair and putting fur on an object. And another might know everything about motion capture. And more and more we're having to become generalists.
Yeah.
In general.
There's a lot of, I feel like, especially in MoGraph.
And like
I feel like there are a lot of generalists in MoGraph. Like,
less of those niche positions.
Yeah, I know a little bit about X particles. I know a little bit about, I probably know a little bit more about RealFlow than I do X particles. I know, that's about all I know. I know a bit more about, modeling than I do about, say, UV mapping. I barely know anything about UV mapping. I know how it should work. I know the theory behind it, but cinema makes it incredibly difficult to UV map.
But it feels like there's less and less.
Just throw it in cubic, right? Just throw it in cubic every time. That's how I UV map.
It feels like there's less of those niche animator positions doing those things. Like all I do is fur. That's all I do all day, every day. But even so, some people are still better at one thing or another, like you said, and everybody has strengths. And so I hear people say, and it really kind of irks me sometimes, we're using this company out in California.
Yeah.
It really bugs me.
It's funny, like, if just saying we use a company out in California or we use someone from California. One time I was playing in a band, and we were playing at this little place. We didn't advertise it at all. It was far away from Dallas, so we weren't expecting anyone to show up. I told the front door guy, I said, if anyone comes in, just tell them, and they ask who's playing, say, I don't know, some band from California. We have never had more people show up. Like,
That's
just
funny.
Go upstairs and rock out with us. It was one of our best shows we've ever played, all because hilarious. I told the door guy, say, just some band from California.
Yeah, what's the thing about, there's most of the time there's perfectly capable local company that can do something just as good as a company in California. But something about the geography of California apparently makes everything so much better.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it. Because there's the sheer number of people doing things in California, and it's a place that people flocked to years ago to do stuff like, to get into that.
It's still known as, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on California. I love California. I love myself a good California, go surfing, get pitted, whatever, Anyway, I do love California, and if I could live there, I probably would, but it's hella expensive.
Well, and that is kind of my point there.
I mean, you're going to be spending a lot of money because they've got a lot of overhead,
Well, yeah, but they built that name for themselves in California over all those years. But really, at this point, there's nothing in California that makes them better. It's just more expensive. It's not that they're better, and they have the higher cost of living, of course. And they're charging 5 times as much because everyone has to pay for their $4,000 a month, 800 square foot apartment. Yeah. And, California's made a name for themselves, and they therefore get away with charging exponentially on the same thing that you could do in any city, really. It's not like it matters where it's done. Yeah. So the solution is to bring back business to the community and prove that everybody in their own town is more than capable of doing these amazing things, and not just California.
Yeah, absolutely. You support your local communities. It's like your local shops and stuff like that. Then, your own, instead of outsourcing all the work to California, then you outsource your work to, somewhere local, shop local, whatever it is, the saying is, because then you're supporting your local community.
And I wish that the half-res presentations were posted somewhere so you could see, like what Chad talked about. This is a career path that allows you to work from anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in your underwear if you want as well.
Yeah.
And this is a career path, just that's fit for people like us that just really don't want to have to work and drive to a day job. And it's really great. And ideally you could establish yourself like on an island somewhere, as long as you have good internets.
Yeah.
And you can work from there.
Totally. And, I was telling you that I was going to go out of town and work remotely because I want to go visit my grandpa and just hang out with him for a week. How often do you get a chance to do that when you just have a normal job, And so, like, during spring break, I'm just going to drive up there on the weekend, hang out for the week, work during the day, and then hang out at night. So it's nice that you can actually do that as a freelancer. I don't know.
So it's our duty really to work together to work together and make a name for ourselves in our community and look out for each other. It's like me, for example, I'm not good with organic stuff. I really want to get better at that. I'm not great with sculpting, like a face or something, for example. But I feel like I'm good at other things.
At sculpting.
But I feel like I'm good at other things, though. And I've learned a lot along the way, and I kind of have a will to share that combined knowledge kind of in like a procured way. Like here's everything that I've learned from different people, and I'm putting it out there for other people in kind of a summary, and networking locally and online and learning how to look things up online too. That's actually a way that gets you to that point where you want to be. Like there's a woman I saw the other day on YouTube who had built a house only using YouTube. Like she was in a bad situation with a husband, I think a domestic violence situation. She didn't have enough money to buy a house, but she had enough to buy all the stuff for a house. And so she's like, I'm going to build this myself. So her and her children used YouTube and went through every step of the way, bought the land, built the entire house just from YouTube stuff that they learned. And
all right.
So,
it's like that episode of Home Improvement, when they do the homes for houses.
You remember that one episode where he was like,
No, it was like, and so like it was a really awful house. That's how I imagine it.
And then Tim was perplexed and he was like, That's how I remember it anyway. So we as a community kind of represent each other as a large part of a whole, and it's kind of like a brain. We're just different pieces of a brain, and some of us know more about one kind of animation or modeling, and some know more about another thing like hair or something like that. And when we share the knowledge online and we come together and we network and we share ideas, we all strengthen each other. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, hippie.
Ooh, I'm smoking it.
Anyway. So DFWC4D is going well. Yes.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And so if you guys are in the Dallas area or around the Dallas area, just come and hang out. It'll be awesome. And Larry Grimes, the Corona guy.
You mean Tom Grimes?
He meant Tom Grimes. Larry Grimes. Sorry, I got a friend named Larry Grimes. Tom Grimes. I really do. I'm not just saying that to cover up my tracks. No, Tom Grimes from Corona is going to be there as well. He's not going to be speaking this time, but he's going to be hanging out. He brought t-shirts last time. I don't know if he'll have t-shirts this time.
It would be
Tom, I'm looking at you. Bring some t-shirts. It'd be a lot cooler if you did. So, so if you got any questions about Corona or something, he'll be there. You can hit him up, ask questions. It'd be great.
Maybe I'll talk about some of the software that I started out with back in the day, like Infinity. Yeah. I found that screenshot of it this week.
I know. You should find a copy of it and do something. I don't know
if you could load it anymore. It was like OS 7.
Yeah, I don't know. Jeez.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I was listening to the Grayscale podcast, this last one that they did, and Chris was talking about how he did the half res thing where he was doing Cinema 46 HD or XL or whatever, you know. And he said rendering in R18 the exact same scene is faster than it is, using the exact same MacBook that he was running it on. So it's just faster in R18 than it is, running in the actual program. I don't know. I thought it was interesting.
That's funny. Even
though you're using the exact same processor and stuff like that.
Well, that's good. That means they're updating their engine.
Yeah. So, anyway, speaking of Grayscale, see how I brought it back there. Speaking of Grayscale, they released HDR Link this week. Yeah. So, we bought the suite. And if you don't own any of the Grayscale, any of their stuff, go ahead and buy the suite because it'll save you a ton of money and you get a bunch of HDRIs. And the biggest thing, here's one thing that they don't do, but I wish they did. And here's why it's advantageous for you to buy the whole suite if you don't own any of them, is because the Link only works with their stuff, So, which I wish it worked for if you could make a preset whole bunch of your favorite ones.
Custom? It seems like that would be a given to put in custom HDRs.
No, I think that so the big thing why Link I think is awesome, is because you've got that browser. Being able to have the browser and go through all the different HDRIs and be able to just easily click on whichever one you want, that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes it easy, is the fact that you've got that browser window and you can go through and click everything and just go, okay, I don't like that one, next. Oh, that one looks pretty good, let me rotate it a bit. Nah, I don't like that. Okay, next, or you're looking for an outside with kind of a greenish tint to it, so you're scrolling through and being able to find the exact one you want and test those out within seconds, instead of having to go through, okay, let's drag this one in. No, okay, let's drag this one in, and being able to browse it, because you can't browse HDRs in your stupid, Windows previewer or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. So it's a really good program. It's really good. It's a really good plugin.
Well, this
speeds up your workflow.
Week you were watching the Beeple thing.
Yeah, I'm watching the Beeple thing, and you and I are on Skype all the time, and you're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm watching the Beeple thing." And you go, "Oh, I don't know," and literally the second after you said that, Beeple said, "I don't know." It's great. Love that guy. Gotta have him on the show.
But you're like, what's this thing he keeps doing where he can see only the piece of geometry that he's working on? I'm like, you mean the solo button?
Well, he used a different solo button. He was using a solo button
just a keystroke.
That was no. It was made by, and someone actually brought this up. Hold on, what's the Nitro 4D or what's the 4D?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Is it Nitro 4D? Nitro 4D. They've got a plugin that is a solo button, that basically whatever you're clicked on, will give you the solo stuff. It'll solo it, and then anything else you add in there, it stays within that thing.
Which is the
Magic Solo. That's what it's called.
Can kind of do that too.
I don't know. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I was like, you've never heard of the solo button, dude? Gah. But they added that in two versions ago.
All right, this just in.
What's up?
This just in. Ranch Computing is totally sponsoring the event. They are offering 150 euros of rendering credits.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
All right, cool.
We got to figure out how we want to do that. If we want to just raffle, or if it, you want it to go to somebody who can actually use it.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's somebody who comes and they're not a Cinema 4D person, like, they wouldn't really want that. So,
Wow, €150 rendering credit. That is awesome.
That's pretty good.
And if you're using GPU stuff, that is like,
oh yeah,
dude, you can render a lot with that.
Totally.
That would be, let's see, 25, 50. That would be 6 hours of GPU rendering time, and stuff that sometimes takes us, 6 to 8 hours on GPU will take us like maybe 15 minutes on their stuff, because their GPU rendering stuff is so fast. Anyway,
so I wanted to address our LinkedIn comments from last week, because I heard a lot about that from different people and whatnot.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. I guess what we were not saying is, like, stop using LinkedIn, and don't use LinkedIn. Because that's not exactly what we meant by that. The thing is that, like, we got this one thing on Facebook, and I'll see if I can pull it up here. Let's see, because people have said that they've gotten work on there before, and so I get that. Like Dan, he says, you guys must really hate LinkedIn. Depends where you are. I think it's definitely better for full-time positions. He said LinkedIn has got him like 80% of his work, but he's in New York City. And so, like, I get that. I think that, as a contractor, as opposed to somebody looking for a job, it's a little less useful. Like, if you're looking for jobs, there's better reasons to use that for connections. And the other thing is, we didn't say it's like complete garbage and don't ever use it, I guess. But it's more about the fact that personal networking is still a better route. Talking to people in person is still a better way to do it than to just add some random stranger on LinkedIn who you don't know and hope that they talk to you. But if you saw that random stranger at like an event, you could actually go up to them and introduce yourself, and you could say, "Hey, I do this, this, and this." And even if you could send that in a linked, what is it called, InMail, or one of those garbage things.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
I mean, if somebody sends you something like that as an intro in InMail, you may or may not even read it. But if you're at an event and somebody comes up to you and tells you the same exact thing, but it's in person, it's such a different situation. Like, you're going to have a connection, you're going to talk to each other. You're probably like 90% more likely to do some sort of business with that person if that happens. Than just, because they get that email and they're like, yeah, you're copying and pasting that to everybody. I'm not unique. You're not talking to me one-on-one. You don't really care. You're just sending this out to everybody and hoping that one of them sticks. So
that's what I always did.
Yeah, that's really more what it was about, I guess. And we got one from, I think, Taylor Kenny, too, who said on Twitter, he says, I agree with you in the most part about LinkedIn, but I actually did get a bunch of work opportunities from it this fall. So... it just depends. I think it depends on location.
And LinkedIn,
it's just so spammy.
So it is spammy. It is spammy. Say someone. LinkedIn is great for making connections whenever it's great for networking when you already know someone or you've got some sort of in. Like, for example, one time I interviewed with a company who was looking to get something done, but and so they had a video, some video people, but I knew like a Linux guy or something who worked for that company, so I was able to meet up with those people through him or something through LinkedIn, but that actually didn't end up turning into anything. So anyway,
just wanted to address that though,
Yeah.
And upgrading, man, you give me such a hard time about upgrading, and
I do give you a hard time because I'm right.
No, because things break. That's the thing. I don't want to upgrade right away because things break. Like, case in point, Lance called me up one day and he's like, "Hey, my computer said, there's a new update to my OS today." And so I just went ahead and I updated it.
Operating system is different, especially when we're using these monster Macs like we have, like operating system is different. You have to set aside time in order to do this. And I don't think you want to set aside the time in order to get all of it done. You're like, no, I'm just too busy. I'll do it later, and then you end up dealing with issues like you got.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so here's what happened with, I may have talked about this on the show. What Lance said.
You didn't. Oh, yeah, you talked about it.
Yeah, Lance just, told me that it said there was an update and he hit update. And it was that morning, and it had just come out. So at that point, it restarts. There's no video because the NVIDIA driver is not on anymore, and you have to update it because they're so specific with NVIDIA about if you are updating your OS, you have to have the driver install file that goes with that 0.14326 update that matches perfectly. And there wasn't one yet because it just came out. So I always kind of let everything blow over before I do my updates. The thing is, my philosophy is always, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so what happens is, for example, I have Safari browser, and I've always been on Safari, even before Chrome, even before Firefox was big, just for years. And the reason I'm still with it is because I've always been with it. And so I'm on Safari, but because of Apple now, you can't just upgrade Safari. You have to upgrade in a big clump because that makes sense. You have to update and break everything at once. So I haven't updated my OS in a year and a half. Therefore, my Safari is a year and a half old, and it won't update. So we are opening Wave Apps the other day, and they changed their layouts. They changed their website, and the left side
looks much better. I think it looks very pretty.
The left sidebar won't come up for me, though. And I look, and it's totally a Safari thing because I don't have the latest version of Safari. So their stuff doesn't work on a browser that's not even 2 years old. And I'm like, really?
But still, this is technology, man. A year and a half old, that's a long time.
Right, but in order to update my Safari, what do I have to do? I have to update my OS. In order to update my OS, what do I have to do? I have to...
You got to spend a whole day updating all your
my stuff.
Yeah, and it's going to suck. But here's the thing that I'll tell you. Like, having TeamViewer on your computer, if you're going to do this, just install TeamViewer, make sure TeamViewer is running, update your stuff, and then install it all through TeamViewer. But what else is going to break? That's what I've always done.
There's stuff that... I don't know. There's stuff that I've tried to install remotely on your computer for you, and it won't install. And I can't figure out why, and it has to do with maybe it's a new version of OS X, and I'm like, okay, well, then my stuff on this program is going to break, and then... Or it's going to break some stuff that I don't know is broken, and then I'll be in a jam, and I'll be working on a project, and I'll open some obscure... piece of software or a tracking program or something, and I need it right away, and it's like, this doesn't work anymore. And you're like, why? Because you have to upgrade, and you try and upgrade, and it doesn't work. All of this cascading, awful domino effect, just because my browser won't open my invoicing program correctly because they changed the layout of their website. That's what irks me about the whole thing. Like, why can't we just fix things individually and not have to break everything in the process? That used to be the thing about Mac, is that's what would happen, is you wouldn't have these cascading awful effects. And that's why I was turned off of Windows.
Keyword that you just used there is...
used to be.
But
that's the thing about Windows. That's why I went away from Windows. I was so tired of having to fix things in order to do things every day. Oh, I can't open my email today for some reason. Okay, why not? I don't know. There's an IRQ conflict with my video card, and I can't open my email program. And so it was like that was a turnoff. And so now it's getting back to that point with Mac, and I'm just like, geez, like, why can't we just have something and get it the way we want and not have to mess with it anymore?
Well, you're also working on a 6-year-old Mac Pro. I mean, it's pretty dated. Mine's 7 years old, I understand, like, as soon as when this Mac dies, I will never buy another Mac, Like, that's just it.
Well, unless they come out with some other kind of something or other.
They won't. If they won't. I don't think they will. If they may do something to where they are. I think Macintosh is now relying heavily on third party. Like, they're gonna give you the like a decent machine to do it, and really overpriced decent machine, but they're gonna rely on third party to do all the programs and all the whatever. Mac is only good for, organization and, keeping in one fluid ecosystem, Like you can keep your mail, you can keep your contacts, you can keep that across your computer and your phone. And that's great. That's really cool for, business people. I talk crap about Mac all the time because, you talk crap about the things that you love the most, that you just want to be better.
Like Otoy.
That's why I give so much crap to Otoy. It's not the fact that like, I love them. I love their program. I love Octane so much. It's so fast. We're an entire Octane studio. We're only focusing on GPU right now. And that's why I give them so much crap. But I want Mac to be better. Amy, my wife was telling me the other day, she said, I don't like how much you harp on Mac. And I said, she's like, I love my Mac. I said, yeah, but what do you do with it? You just surf the internet, you use it for email, you use it for this. Yeah. That's great. It is a totally great laptop. It is a totally great little everyday machine, for doing that type of stuff, for clerical stuff or whatever, But when it comes to like the pro stuff that they're supposed to, that they were built on, it's gone. That is all gone.
Well,
anyway,
we harp on it all the time, but yeah, you're right. I don't know what else to do.
I just, I have, so skipping ahead, I use my Mac Pro, my 2012 Mac Pro that I love. It's a MacBook Pro that I absolutely love. And it was the last of the line where you could actually upgrade everything yourself. I have one just sitting under my desk, waiting to be used. I've had it for a year now and it doesn't do anything. And I've needed some sort of way in order to do GPU rendering quickly or even at all without having some sort of mobile version, right. And I've talked about this on the show for probably a year now. Do I go external GPU? Do I go laptop? Do I buy another small computer?
And then the same question always comes up, with you or with even listeners or people on the Cinema 4D subreddit. Well, what about this box that lets you put a GPU in it? And then you look at it and you're like, yeah but it doesn't support this. And if you do, then you spend just as much money.
Akito Thunderbolt 2, I've talked about it a million times. I finally pulled the trigger this week, and I decided that I'm no longer going to be, even my laptop is no longer going to be Mac. I bought a Razer Blade, laptop. It's the new one that they came out with, I believe, in like September or something. It's got a full desktop GTX 1060.
Which I don't understand how that's even possible.
It is 7/10 of an inch tall, like the whole thing. It's got 3 USB 3s. It's got HDMI. It's got headphone jack. It's got Thunderbolt 3, I believe, or whatever. USB-C. No, it's got USB-C, which is awesome. And here's the cool thing about this, and this is why I decided to go with this one, because if I want to add another graphics card or add a more powerful card, I won't have to do 1,000 hacks, that I would have to do with a Mac. Because the Razer has like a $500 box that you can buy and hook up through USB-C, and there it is. Well, and if I wanted to add an additional card, I could add an additional card really easily with a very portable unit. And that Razer, the Razer, what is it called? Razer Core, I believe it is the external box. It's $500, which kind of sucks, but it's got a built-in 350 watt
power supply
or 325 watt power supply. So it's like that can power just about any card that you throw in it.
And you said that the higher version of this thing actually has a full 1080 built into it. How is that possible?
Yeah, so I don't know.
It's so thin and there's like not any big giant fans on it. Like,
I don't know.
How does
Let
it
me
not
see
overheat?
I don't know. Like, but I was looking at some reviews because I was worried about that myself, you know? Yeah, how big's the height on this one? Anyway, so like the I got just the regular razor blade, you know, there's 3 different, what's interesting, like razor blade is like the way Mac Pro should have gone, you know? Or so you've got the Razer Blade Stealth, which is basically the Mac version of the MacBook Air, you know, and it doesn't have an NVIDIA card. It's just the Intel graphics card. It's what's in my 2012 MacBook Pro, you know. And so the Razer Blade Stealth, and then one step up from that, you got the new Razer Blade, which you've got 2 different options: 1920 by 1080 Full HD. That's your cheaper version. I went for the upgraded 3200 by 1800 high quality HD, and it's got touch, which is awesome. So I can actually do the touch screen, which is way cool. And it's reasonably priced, you know, especially for what you're getting. And then you've got the Razer Blade Pro, which that one's pretty ridiculous.
Less than a MacBook Pro.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely.
And it seems to be more powerful.
So. Yeah, let's go to Mac's website and just
like if you get a MacBook Pro, it's going to cost you $3,000 minimum for something decent.
Yeah, and you know you won't be able to do. I don't think you'll be able to do Octane. No. And that's the most important thing to me, is being able to do Octane, because I'm gonna go out of town, you know, in March or something. I want to work remotely from there, and I want to be able to do this, and I don't want to carry my PC is freaking huge.
Yeah, you don't want to carry that crap around.
It is so huge, and I definitely do not want to carry the Monster Mac around, because that, like, one little thing gets messed up and you're just like, ugh. So let's see, the 15-inch MacBook Pro. Let's see, let's upgrade this to top of the line, everything. See, and you can't, Radeon 460, 4 gigabyte graphics. The graphics aren't that great. $4,300 versus the Razer Blade Pro. Let's see, if you're doing a 1 terabyte, it's $4,000, and that's a 17-inch screen, 4K screen. I mean, it's good. It's good. Anyway, so I decided, you know, I finally pulled the trigger on it, and you know, I got myself a Razer Blade. I think Chris Schmidt has one as well.
Oh, really?
He likes it. Yeah, I think so. That's what David was saying. He said, "Oh yeah, Chris Schmidt has one." But just being able to have the easy plug and play option of putting another graphics card in there, you know? Like, so if we're like, you and I are going on like a show or something where we need to be mobile and we need something super powerful, we got it, you know? We just spend the extra $500 or whatever, rip out one of our graphics cards from one of our other machines, and then we're good to go. You know what I'm saying? Or use the 780 Ti literally that I just have sitting around.
Well, you're slowly starting to sell me on it. I don't know.
You know, and here's the thing. They are beautiful. They are so pretty. They look just like a MacBook Pro.
Because I really wanted to drop the cash on building a whole new system, but after being in the hospital and my medical bills and such that are piling up,
thanks Obama.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to do something a little scaled down in that aspect for now, at least. But I don't know, we'll see.
They also threw in a Razer Leviathan. It's like this little Bluetooth speaker, which is cool. They gave you that for free. Got a free copy of Fruity Loops.
Dude, I didn't even know that was still around.
Dude, it's like, and I was kind of excited about it, so I started like looking up tutorials on Fruity Loops. It's exactly like I remember.
You gonna make some beats?
Heck yeah, dude. I'm like, this is great. Now I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna be a musician again.
So, yeah. Oh, I was also going to say that the funny part about that whole cascading issue effect of not being able to use Safari is I open Chrome, and then all of a sudden my internet stops working.
Yeah,
and then I start having issues.
That's really
weird. So I couldn't figure out why my internet was going out. My box itself would just reset itself. it just reset, start over. Yeah. And it would come back up right away, but then I'd be like, okay, sit down and work again. And I'd work and it would go out again. So after all this tracking down, it turns out if I'm running Chrome on my computer, my internet cable modem resets itself.
That's weird.
How is that even possible?
I have no idea.
It's so weird. Anyway, so
I've never heard of that happening because of a browser.
Yeah. So, other things that happened this week, I guess. Do you don't use PF Track that much, do you?
I've used it once or twice just to try it out.
This is something,
but I don't really.
I talked to David about this too because he was having trouble at one point, and he was like a frame off or something with his track. And
I think I've heard you guys talk about this.
And I was like, well, I don't have that problem that often, but then I had to track something that was like 23980 or something, some weird frame rate. And I brought it in, and it's just not matching. And it's mainly not PF Track's issue, but a Cinema 4D issue. When you bring in a background of that file, when you're working in frames, you can't work in like fractions of a frame. So you can't, if you're working in 23976 or something in Cinema 4D, you're working at 24 frames. You can't even type in that fraction on your settings for your project because you have to have individual frames. And so what happens is you will bring in the piece of of footage behind whatever you tracked, and you had to track just right. But then when you bring it in, it will kind of do that deal where it's doing double frames every once in a while on your footage, and I could not get it to line up right. And I guess really what you have to do from the get-go is just take your footage and convert it to full 24 frames a second. That's really the only solution I can think of, or just trust that it's going to line up once you get it back into After Effects. And just not worry about it when it's in Cinema. That's just something that came up because I'm working on a couple things this week, and man, I would like to be a better colorist too.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things where you pick a profession and kind of focus on it. And even just being a generalist, I know a little bit about color.
I feel like I could. There's a couple more things I could learn about color and be halfway decent at it. I always sit down to color something, and then I realize, of course, my monitors aren't calibrated right, and then you try and look at it on a consumer monitor, and those things always crush the blacks by default, with their crazy picture modes and their 240 hertz.
Yeah.
And so nothing matches, and I'm just like, man, I wish I knew exactly. I mean, I know about waveform monitors and vector scopes and how they work, but it's mainly as far as how to relate them to coloring. I'm sure there are some good tutorials out there or something like that. So I'd just like to get better in general, just so I can make something look pretty with a little less effort. So, so we got that. We got some other things coming up. I like being, or I don't want to be that guy who's like D-bag Facebook, Twitter guy. Oh, there's so much coming up, but I can't tell you.
Yeah. we do. It's true though. We do have a lot coming up. We do have a lot that we're working on, in the mix. Something that we're working on something right now that is not just going to be local. We're working on something that we are hoping is going to be international,
So
that's
not
just United States. So, but yes. So, and I don't know. Look out what's coming up.
We can't tell you.
I guess I don't. Sorry. Anyway, the closer we get to it, the more we're gonna let out. But we really want to get things rolling first before.
Yeah. Was it you that was telling me this week that Beeple and Ash only used some sort of old
780 Ti?
Ash Thorpe just built a new machine. Did you see it?
I know.
He posted
I
didn't even know he was in the Octane render group on Facebook. He posted pictures. Of course, all his pictures were super artsy in depth of field, and he had to post the pictures of the computer as professionally done as possible.
Yeah.
He upgraded to like 3 1080s, I think.
Yeah, people on the... So I finally watched the Ash Thor People thing that was back in December, the end of December. And, you know, people... It's so cool being able to watch him work, you know? Like, just going through and, like, kind of understanding a little bit of how his mind works and stuff is kind of neat. And like his modeling techniques and stuff like that, really cool. Like it was all just like mostly straight edges, and he'd do a bevel, but he'd do just like a single bevel,
right?
You know, like just one edge or whatever. Yeah. And it was really cool. And he was just making all these little pieces. Then he'd throw them into an octane scatter and scatter it across the thing, you know, and then he'd just play with the colors for a while. It was very cool. It was very cool to watch. And so, like, yeah, they were just talking, and he was using network rendering, which, come to find out through accident, you know. So apparently, and it's one of those things where you're so mad at yourself that you didn't know this earlier, you know. Like, who was it that was saying? Oh, I can't remember. We mentioned something like loop selection or something like that, and they're like, "What?
Oh, transfer." Transfer.
Yeah, transfer.
It was Sage.
You know, they're like, oh, transfer what? Yeah, say. And so, like, this is something I feel stupid because apparently in Octane, when you're using your live viewer or wonder your preview interactive preview renderer, like you can actually do network rendering on it. You know, you can use your other machines. You just have to. It's literally just a checkbox and make sure your settings.
The reason
are right.
that I never looked into it is because they were talking about 3.1. They were going to do that. But they were talking about being able to do it with your local cards turned off or not having any CUDA cards locally. And so I kind of in my head was like, oh, that means that's not coming out until 3.1. That's not what they were saying. They were basically saying that you can use network rendering, you just can't do it. You know, you can't just turn your cards. And I tried it too, you know. Because I think that's part of the issue with my computer. Sometimes I kind of overheat my cards because I'm working and rendering it all at the same time, and you know, I'm just overworking the cards. And so I'm like, well, what if I could just have all the cards in the you know, remote machine do their thing, you know, and not worry about it.
Yeah, which would be nice, you know, if you could do it that way. But yeah, so I don't know, it's in there. I feel stupid for not knowing it, but Beeple was going through and he was doing his renderings and stuff like that, and then they were talking about cards and stuff like that, and he goes, oh yeah, I just use the 780 Ti's, you know, I got a buttload of them. he's got 3 machines, his main machine he's working on, and then 2 render nodes, and they just Ash was like, do you do any water cooling or anything? He goes, no, I just throw them in there, and if they break, I just replace them. It's like, I don't worry about any of that water cooling. It's
kind of true, though. It's kind of true.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what we do. I mean, we went as far as to do an open air case so that it'll at least, you know, dissipate the heat a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know. It was so funny. But yeah, he's just using the 780 Ti's, and from what I hear, the 780, I mean, we have one, you know, and I would have it plugged into my computer if I had another slot open. But like when we tested it out, man, the 780 Ti was just a little bit lower than the 980 Ti's. You know, as far as speed, you know, and Octane bench score.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, in After Effects news, got a couple things for once. We haven't hit up After Effects in a little bit, but of course, it's with an issue, first of all. The issue I was having was this weird looping issue. So I was trying to do kind of like a walk cycle type thing for a real simple animation. But it was a real simple walk cycle, right? And I had it all kind of nested in a comp. And if you want to do a walk cycle, usually you've got to go in and do an expression for time. What is it called? Time remapping, right?
Yeah.
So you take the time remap and then you tell that to loop. Well, the problem I was having is if you do that on a comp that is already nested, then just weird things start happening. I had like frames that would just disappear. You know, there were frames like where the character wasn't there at all. And I'm like, that's not even existing inside of my nested comp at all. And so I had to kind of do this weird hacked way to make it work, but it didn't make any sense. Like I just didn't understand why the looping wasn't working.
I've had stuff like that happen before where any time I add, so if I've got a pre-comp or something and I do a time remap, and there are keyframes within that pre-comp, like it sometimes messes up on me. So what I'll do is I'll actually render out that pre-comp, you know, as a thing, and then just time remap that.
Yeah.
Or you could even probably do a high-res proxy of it as well.
Yeah, it's just, you know, sucks that you have to do it that way.
Yeah, it does. It does. But, you know, you also can't play real time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was David's issue he was talking about this week. And I guess it's, again, an issue I don't have because I haven't upgraded yet. And there's some weird thing where you will hit, and it's only if you have like the 4 or 5K monitor or something like that. In Windows, you will hit 0 or spacebar or whatever to do your quote-unquote RAM preview, which is preview now, I guess. But it'll kind of start going, and then you'll get this spinning wheel of death as it just goes in a continuous loop and won't stop, or something weird. I don't remember exactly how he described it, but he sent me something that apparently is fixed in the newest update. So if you're having playback, I mean, you figure though playback issues, like that's a really big deal. You know, that should be something that's worked out before they even release. But
yeah, you know, and like I think I've said this before, when we were at NAB a couple of years ago, they were talking about the big thing that they focused on was performance.
It's the RAM previews.
And while, yes, I do feel like their performance has gotten a lot faster, and like, say, when you're deleting, you know, layers or adding effects and turning off effects, and you already have that RAM previewed, and like that RAM preview comes back, that's awesome. That is super cool. But like, it's still, a lot of the times it won't play in real time.
I just don't understand that. And it's just like, you'll put a fully pure image sequence on your timeline with no effects and no anything else, and you hit preview, and it just sits there like chewing on it as if there's some effect on it. Like, just play it already. And every time they come out with a new After Effects, it seems like they say that they're fixing this. Oh, well, we screwed it up last time, but this time it's Lucy with the football with Charlie Brown, you know. This time we're really going to do it. We're not going to pull the football away this time.
Yeah. That's funny.
So you came across something cool though that you sent to me. GM fold layers.
Oh yeah. So MotionWorks. What's MotionWorks' name? John Dickinson. Like he was you know, I've got him on Twitter, and he just switched over to a PC as well, and he said the number one things that he misses about working on a Mac, because this plugin is apparently Mac specific, is something called GM fold layers. And it's something I wish they would like incorporate into Octane. It would be really, or Octane, sorry. My team viewer just popped up and said Octane, you know, into After Effects is where, like, basically, so instead of having to like instead of having pre-comps and stuff like that, and then like having to go into the pre-comp and stuff like that, it would be really nice. I guess I should probably talk about what GM fold layers does. I'm getting flustered. I've had way too much Red Bull. So GM fold layers is basically a way to where you create a layer, and then everything below it you can hide based on whether or not you've got this layer hidden, you know, or like drop down or something like that. So it's really cool, and it's a way of really helping you keep everything organized. And all it is just, I guess, a simple script that adds the what's that thing called? It's like the shy button or something.
Oh yeah, shy layers.
I always call it the I call it the Kilroy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kilroy. It's a little Kilroy thing.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. I'm glad you call it Kilroy.
I think that's what it's supposed to be. Well,
is it?
Technically.
That's what I thought it always looked like. Anyway, so Anyway, yeah, it does the hide layers or whatever like that, and it's a pretty simple script, but it works really well, and it looked really cool.
This is what we were talking about with EJ when we were in Colorado, is why don't they do something like that? Why is that such a big deal that they can't even make it? I guess people crap on it when they put it in beta or something, and then it's just like, well, just at least make it an option for people who want to turn it on, because nesting stuff to me is like, I hate these complicated projects and everybody's like, oh, just nest it. I'm like, I don't want to nest it. I want to be able to see everything I'm working on in one comp. Why can't I just collapse this section in a null just like you can in Cinema? It's so simple. It just seems like common sense.
I totally agree. Yeah. I mean, that guy was able to create the plugin for it. Seems simple enough. Why not just create something called a fold layer, Right. New fold layer. Whatever. I don't know. Anyway, Adobe's starting to become, After Effects is starting to become like Mac, where it's like you're just relying completely on third party, And I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, where they're not really incorporating new stuff into After Effects, because they're almost always relying on third party, like Particular. Everyone uses Particular, and there's not really much of a I can't remember. Think of the word. Anyway.
Well, here's some Ravco stuff. We'll get into our Redshift Arnold V-Ray Cycles Octane deal.
Yeah. Amy thinks that we should call it Ravcock because you said Ravcock, and so she really liked it. She's like, oh yeah, I like Ravcock. That would be good. What she said you need to do something Ravcock, Live or Die or something like, I can't remember.
Like the name
Ride
of a
or
movie.
Die. I don't know. She's gonna get mad at me because I'm saying it all wrong. Something like that.
This time it's for real. This time it's personal. The NetRender thing we talked about already, but there's a rumor that the 1080 Ti is coming in March. We got an article.
Yeah, I don't know, but the rumor was also that it was coming in January. But
well,
I don't know.
Yes and no. I mean, I was not expecting it because a year ago, at the same exact deal when we were all on Skype talking to each other, there were no announcements like that. So,
yeah, I don't know.
I kind of felt like they were also not going to announce anything at this one, but it's an article, 1080 Ti coming at PAX East, March. We'll put the link in the show notes so you can check it out. But if you're holding off on getting a card, you think maybe there's going to be a Ti, it might be March. It's not that long, so that's something to think about. And then there's this V-Ray Adobe partnership that happened this week too, and
yeah, this is interesting. Weird. But from what I understand, it's only for what is it? Project. What's it called? Project Falcon? Project Valkyrie? Project?
No, that's the name of a game.
Project
Felix.
Felix.
Yeah, but I don't like they put the graphic out of like a cherry blast bottle.
Yeah. That was what
cola,
they showed off and stuff.
And it's sitting on a pier. Like the pier looks good, but like the bottle looks all cartoony and like not realistic at all. And you're like, is this really all they had to show for like a really good render for announcing this partnership?
I mean, I'm sure for a lot of the like, the whatchamacallit guys, the just the standard Photoshop guys, I'm sure they'd be really happy about that, being able to throw in like actual like refractive light and stuff like that.
Yeah, I get that. It just looks a little fake-ish. And I feel like they could have, had a better graphic for that. I don't know. Otoy. Okay, so Otoy actually did a video, and it was on this article that was actually about Otoy and Unity and the light-filled baking that's going to come into Unity, because we were talking about, Octane's going to be in the next version of Unity. And there was a video about what's going to be in Octane 4 as well, which is interesting because, I would like a video about Octane 3.1.
Right. Or just any sort of news about it.
Yeah, and we posted it, and Chad Ashley was like, so they're going to have revamped AOVs then? Chad, when he was on the show, he was talking a lot about the fact that there are things that Octane does not do, and it looks like they never really are going to do. Just there's a lot of technical stuff under the hood that they need to change, and it just doesn't look like they're going to. And of course, like, I'm like, I don't know. By the time Octane 4 comes out, we'll probably be on Arnold GPU render at that point. By the time that actually happens,
I know, right?
But it's interesting to me that they're focusing on all this new stuff and they won't even fix the stuff that's in it already. And maybe they are, and maybe they're just not telling anybody, but it sure would be nice if they would actually say, hey, we're going to fix this. It's like, you got two mixed materials and there's a specular on both materials in your mixed material. So how is it combining the specular? You've got 25% specular on one and 75 on another. Does that equal 100% specular combined in the mixed texture?
Yeah, no, I think they just said that it was like just...
It is what it is.
I don't know, just... Yeah,
there's no good answer. That's the problem.
Know. Yeah.
Anyway, you can check that video out. That'll be in the show notes. And, of course, the article has the obligatory Cornelius astronaut floating in the phone booth picture on top. Because, everybody has to use that picture now in every article. The 14 GPU system that dude has been building, that we've been talking about for a while, he's been building that on YouTube, and he's finally done with it. And he posted his 20th YouTube video or something on the build.
Jeez.
And was showing it benchmarking. He's getting basically what's the equivalent of like a 2200 benchmark score. Wow. So it's basically 2 7 GPU machines together, with net render getting 2200.
That is insane.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And the temperatures are insane. Like when the thing's running, don't quote me on this, but I want to say like the thing is running and is getting it's like running at 40 something degrees Celsius when it's running. It's insane.
That's good, right?
Well, yeah, because we usually set ours to 83.
Hey Siri, how much is 42 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
42 degrees Celsius is 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's pretty high, though.
Because when we run ours to max out at 83 degrees C.
Is it 83 degrees C?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I thought it was 83 degrees Fahrenheit.
No, that's C. So when we're...
Wait, that would be really cold.
Yeah, so we're like... running ours and it's maxing out at that, and you're just trying to maintain that level as a safe temperature, and his is like half the temperature of ours. It's ridiculous. Water cooling, man.
The razor blade, the video that I saw, the guy was testing it, and he was the temperature of the 1060 was staying at a cool 72 degrees.
Let's see,
the whole time.
That's not bad. That's not bad. And so that's like running full go, like it's sitting there rendering something at 7.
I guess so.
Man, that's pretty impressive.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about this topic here real quick, and then we're going to get on to some emails and we'll get out of here. I wanted to talk about not getting taken advantage of.
Yeah.
When you're a solo dude, or you're trying to start your own company, or maybe even sometimes in a position where you're working at a job as maybe the only graphics person in some sort of company, you've got to think about what your time is worth. And I guess this applies more to the contractors and business owners than the people in the 9-to-5 work positions. But I think it still will make some sense. Is, first of all, what is your time worth? Because, if you know me, I'm a big fan of Merlin Mann, and his philosophy on time is time is time, a minute's a minute, right? What is a minute worth to you? Because if you think of minutes like currency, it's a currency that has no QE1, QE2, no quantitative easing. You can't add minutes to the day ever. It's never going to happen. So it's always worth the same from your standpoint. You always have this block of minutes, that those minutes are always there. And how much are those minutes going to be worth? Are you taking on too much? Could you divide those minutes up? You can divide those minutes up in any way. Like, I'm going to spend this many minutes today working and this many minutes with my family and work and side projects and so on, right? So you've got all of these different things you're going to use your minutes on today, and it's still going to be the same amount of minutes no matter how you block them. So if somebody wants to pay you for those minutes, what is it worth? $1,000. That's what you got to decide. How much, is it worth eating into your night and weekends, for example? Because those were valuable minutes that were being used for something else. And are you getting compensated correctly for those or not? Or, at some point, do you feel like you're being taken advantage of? And, sometimes not on purpose, but sometimes you will feel that way, because you feel it when it happens. Like too many favors getting asked, or you feel like you're not getting paid enough. You just have a gut feeling that you are sort of getting taken advantage of. And most of the time, I'd say it can actually be your fault for letting it get to that point. Sometimes not. Sometimes you can fall into a trap, but sometimes it happens just from being quote unquote like too nice. Too much of a nice guy. We're not all we're not all Donald Trump doing deals and getting out there and just money. We're graphic artists and we're entrepreneurs, and maybe we're family men or women. We're not looking to build $1 billion company and sell it. That's not what we're doing. We're not wheeling and dealing. We just want a successful business that could possibly make us lots of money, hopefully. And most people want to see it through to retirement. They want this to be the profession, or they want to build a production company or something. They're not looking to sell it and then go like trade stocks with the money. It's not the point of the whole thing, Right. So, all that being said, I got to switch to my notes. Some people will realize when they're working with you that they can take advantage and they'll do it. And some people kind of just don't realize that you're bending over backwards for them. You might be doing it and you just don't make a big deal out of it, and you do stuff for them, and then they're just used to you doing that stuff for them, which if you...
That's the biggest problem, is when they get used to you bending over backwards. Like, they say jump, you say how high, like expecting that they understand that you're actually like going out of your way for them, and they don't know. They don't realize.
And they'll become, a lot of clients become friends too, and you can get to that point where they just kind of ask you to do something and you do it for that reason, and that's fine. And a lot of times, like, it's not a big deal, it's something easy, but it can get out of control, and you're going to have clients that just don't get it. And that's fine. Sometimes you have to let them go, or sometimes you have to kind of change things or tell them that you're going to change things. And sometimes it's at a loss, but the loss of course is going to clear the way for new, better business. And the other side of that too, is that it can affect you emotionally as well. I don't like to be in a position where there's drama. I hate drama. I think it's stupid. It is stupid, but then stuff comes up and I dwell on it. Of course, I'm Italian. I can't help it.
Are you Italian?
Yeah, totally. So,
I had no idea because you're so pale.
Well, that's the Polish side of me. Yeah. It's true. Okay. And, so, that's the thing. Like, it runs in my family, like down my Italian line. The warriors of the family, right? And I can't help it, whether it's my fault or not, kind of deal. Like, I want to resolve, I want to fix, because I think drama is stupid, and I want to fix things. I'm a fixer. I want the resolve, and I can't stop thinking about it until it's resolved, until it's fixed. And that's a tough thing for me. And what Merlin says about that is, don't let stupid stick to you, because in general, if someone says something or does something in your life, in your business, whatever it is, it's not just about business, it gets to you. What do you do in that situation? Because most people, I think, usually will sit there and dwell on it. in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it bugs you even just a little bit, or you are going to bed that night and you're laying there and you're like, man, I hate this,
Yeah. I was up till 3:00 in the morning the other day because I could not sleep. I was too pissed off and thinking about other stuff and just couldn't get to
and
bed.
That sucks. And the more that you get into building your own business and something like that, I think the more that kind of stuff is going to happen. And you sit there and dwell on it and you think about, it eats away at you and you're like, oh, you know what I should have said? You know what I should have done?
Yeah, I hate that.
The feeling.
I hate that. Yeah.
If I would have said that would have been awesome. But hindsight's 20/20, and the thing about it is that the other guy in the situation isn't thinking about it at all. And that's what's unfair, and that's what's crappy about the situation is he or she is the one that caused the issue in the first place, and now they're at home having a scotch or something and chilling and not thinking about you at all. And you're letting stupid stick to you. And I have to tell myself that over and over.
Have you seen I see this clip from Mad Men.
It's funny you say that because it's in my notes.
Yeah, where he's like, oh, that's funny. Where he's like, I feel sorry for you sometimes. And the other guy's like, I don't think about you at all.
And I think about that all the time because it's just not. It's not natural for things to bounce off of you. I mean, that's just human nature. So you have to tell yourself that over and over, and you have to train yourself to be rubber and they're glue. And don't let stupid stick to you. You'll feel like a load is taken off. So she said.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's that.
Dude, I hate dealing with print people or print stuff, not print people. Because like we're doing these t-shirts and I'm going back and forth with this lady, and I was like, it's like it should be understood that if I send you a graphic, match the colors.
Yes.
It's especially if I send them to you in CMYK, And she's like, oh, you want the exact colors? Yeah, I want the exact colors. Yes. Why would I not want the exact
Those are
colors?
Our colors?
Oh, we're just using some generic ones. If you want the exact colors, you're gonna have to pay extra.
That's what we asked in the first place.
Yes. She's like, you're gonna have to pay. Okay. Well, is it a one-time charge or is it per t-shirt? Oh, it's a one-time charge. Well, can you just send? She said, then can you send me the Pantone colors of everything? I'm like, I don't freaking know the Pantone colors.
Click on it.
So what I'm having to do...
It's CMYK. Just click on it and do the Pantone color in Illustrator.
So what I'm having to go through is color pick it, grab the hex value,
do that.
Bring it into a hex to Pantone.
You know why? If you are paying extra, if we are paying extra for the setup charge for those colors, they should be able to do that part of it. We don't say, okay, I'll color pick them in Photoshop myself, but I'm not going to pay for the extra if I have to do it myself. Because okay, if you're working at a t-shirt company, you know how to use a color picker. That's just garbage.
Yeah, I would think so.
Why am I paying a setup charge if I have to go give you all the colors myself? Anyway, don't let stupid stick to you.
Yeah.
But I think about the Don Draper thing all the time, dude. And when I'm in that situation, and I try to think about that scene when I feel that way in order to train myself not to let stupid stick to me. So
yeah,
let's move on to some email and stuff. And then you can address the t-shirt thingy.
Anyway, sorry. I'm just like, and I don't want to. Here's the thing. So like, I'm going back and forth with this
t-shirt
just call lady,
her on the
and
phone.
like, I'm keep on thinking to myself, it's like, am I that client? I don't want to be that client, because it's like we have clients where we're like, oh yeah, this is, the stuff that we do is in RGB, and they're like, well, this doesn't match the CMYK color, and I'm like, well, this is RGB. This is what we work in. I don't want to be that guy where it's like, hey, this doesn't match our colors.
Right, but we understand print enough to know that you can send someone a CMYK and they should be able to figure out at least. That's the thing. We take something that's CMYK and we have to put it in RGB and we color pick the colors. Right. That's what they need to do. Right. Color pick it, and then you will know what the Pantone is. It's that simple. Don't charge a setup charge if you're not going to pick out the colors yourself. No, we want this logo to look... we have a shirt that already is done well, and we want it to look like the shirt that's done well.
Yeah. We're just trying to bring it in-house instead of having to go through Amazon. And Amazon does a great job with it. You know what? And we're just having to pay more money through Amazon for doing it, and we really don't want to have to do that.
First of all, that whole network talking to people thing, just call her after the show. First of all, but second of all, be like, look, we want this to look exactly like the Amazon version that we showed you. Exactly like it. We showed the online version. We sent a picture of what the shirt looks like. We want it to look exactly the same. Exactly. To a T. No pun intended.
Anyway. I also want to do some Brograph stickers. So if we bring all this stuff in-house, we could throw a couple Brograph stickers in there.
Oh, that's easy. You just get some sticker paper and print them.
Oh gosh, no. I want it to be like good looking vinyl stickers, like ones that you can actually like put on your car, like an Apple sticker or something like that.
A little logo. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
So let's get to email and stuff.
Sorry, this is just what you guys are going to have to deal with if we're doing a podcast on a Monday morning instead of a Sunday night.
It's Monday.
Sunday night, all of our work is done.
Mondays. So...
When I was waking my kid up to go to school today, I woke him up and I said, Monday is fun day. Monday's a great day to have fun.
Is it?
That's what I'm telling him. Trying to convince him that Mondays are great.
Garfield hates Mondays. So does Gazorpazorp Field. Is that his name?
Yeah, Gazorpazorp Field. Hey, it's just like Garfield, except it's Gazorpazorp Field.
Rick,
what? Give me my freaking enchiladas.
He starts cussing them out. Oh man, Rick and Morty is the best. You really are missing out if you don't watch that show. So I was playing.
I'm looking at you, David.
I was playing the VR, the Lab, which is the Steam kind of like based off of the Portal game. In a way, for Oculus, it's technically it's not for Oculus, but it is. It's like if you're on the Steam, I don't know what you call it, the Steam.
thing. You know what? I set up
Steam VR.
Okay, so let's talk some VR for a second because I finally set up my Oculus to work with my Steam account, and I gotta say it works surprisingly well. Setup was exactly like the HTC
I just
Vive,
wish you could remap the controls because the controls are complete garbage sometimes. Can we please pick a button for grabbing things? Because it should be the grab button with the middle finger, the regular grab. And it's not just the difference between like Vive games and Oculus games. It's
Oculus
even
does
on
that
Oculus,
too.
it's like, okay, you should have the grab button should be grabbing, the trigger button should be shooting.
Yeah,
it's so simple. Why do we have to put it the other way? Like, whose idea is that? I agree. Yeah.
So... the one thing that I didn't like about setting it up was I don't have a lot of room in my office. I don't have a bunch of room. So like I had to like fudge my room scale. Otherwise it wouldn't let me play.
The main problem is that a lot of times you can walk up to something and your hand will go over that. So you really want to put your hand. You should be able to scale move the walls manually.
The cool thing is because you're running the Oculus, headset, I guess at the same time, because the Oculus store and all that stuff opens up whenever you're playing Steam, and I think if you close it down, it actually closes down the app, but because you've got that up and you set up your room scale before, it actually gives you the Oculus room scale as well as the other room scale.
Right.
Which is cool. So like, I was able to fudge all my things on the Steam one, but it was fine because I still had my Oculus room scale that was warn me if I was going too far.
And you could turn any of them off. So you could turn the one off, and just use the main one.
Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, the Lab, that is such a fantastic game. Yeah. It is super cool.
My favorite is the spaceship thing. Oh my gosh, the spaceship one.
Thing. Which one is that one?
Where your hand is a spaceship. Have you not done that? I
don't think I remember
this
one.
Go up to the arcade game. That's the best one, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just the arcade game.
No, you didn't grab the ball and put it on your head. That arcade game is just a thing that goes with it.
What? Oh, I was actually just playing the arcade game. I thought that's all that was.
No, you need to try this. So it puts you in like this outer space room with like LED walls all around you and cool graphics and stuff, right? Like you're playing an arcade game. But then within the virtual space, your hand becomes a spaceship.
Oh, neat.
And this is like a 3D version of playing like Asteroids or any of those space shooter games where stuff is coming at you, except your hand is the ship and you have to move it around all of these things coming at you and shoot all of the things coming and without getting hit.
Wow.
So your hand is just in 3D space. You're moving it, trying to avoid all these obstacles, and it gets crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna have to give that a try because that's really
and there's
cool.
a slingshotty thing where all the little slingshot balls are talking to you.
The slingshotty thing, yeah. That's like David was calling it like Angry Birds?
Yeah.
Like Angry Birds 3D can't get any better than that.
There needs to be an Angry Birds 3D. That'd be fun.
Nah.
That would be really fun.
Anyway.
But the thing is, the little balls are talking to you, and so the ball comes up and he's like, I don't know if you should be doing this right now. I don't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Morty. And another one was talking, and it sounded like Rick. And I looked it up, and of course, it's the guy who does Rick and Morty's voice, because it's the same guy does both of them.
Yeah. My favorite was when you're in that room and you're going around and to the different areas, and you're like shrinking down, you shrink down, and like so you're looking all around like as a smaller version of yourself. That's in the lab as well. It's like this. It's a magician's lair or something like that, or like a it's way cool.
I was trying to like where the magician comes in, the little creature comes in and talks to you first.
Yeah.
I didn't get that far.
Yeah.
Something came through the roof and killed me.
Oh, that's funny.
So I don't know. Huh. Maybe I need to go back.
Maybe you went to the wrong area. Yeah, no, there's like all these different places where you can like, it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland, You go up to a certain area or you touch a certain area and then it turns you really, really small. And then you see all around you as a really, really small person.
I have to try that again because
really
it wasn't
cool.
doing anything. Yeah. I was like, do you just walk around in here? Because nothing was happening.
Yeah. No, it's
really cool. And
cool.
the one with the body is cool. You can like cross section the human body.
That one is super cool.
Space one.
And my wife is a librarian, and I immediately thought her kids would love that. Being able to like, do cross sections of bodies and stuff like that and see all sorts of cool stuff. I don't know. That seems super cool.
I wish it were put together from an actual 3D skeleton. Because it's like they use some sort of a 3D scan, and it's all crappy looking.
No, they used an MRI.
I know, but I wish they would have at least taken the bones and made them just normal and not all distorted.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the MRI was pretty cool. Have you ever had an MRI and you got the images of it? Because I got an MRI of my brain, and I was able to go layer by layer and kind of look at that. Dude, I should turn that into 3D.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I was like, there needs to be a way now with VR where you can just take this stuff and you can look at your own scan in VR.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Because like if you're like, I'm having a lot of back pain, and I'm like, if I could see that point where it is and like pinpoint it and be able to tell the doctor, no, it's right here that I'm feeling that pain. Tell me how I can fix this nerve or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else was in there? There were
there was an archery game, which was like a defend your castle type archery game. That was really cool. Yeah. It just basically gives you a tease of what people could do with this, and I thought they did a really good job. Like, it is a very good introductory game into VR.
I figured out how to break it. I broke the game.
Really? Oh,
so
yeah. Here's what kind of it didn't work perfectly for me. Mine kept on glitching out. Like, I would have like issues where up at the top I'd get this flickering. Basically, the screen would be flickering. Yeah.
Well, when you're in the main part of the lab, you can move around. So I was like, I figured out that like if you lean forward in a chair, and then you hit the button and hit it twice so that it turns you 180, and then you lean back, and then you swipe it back, and you lean forward, and you just keep leaning forward and backward while swiping, it'll take you out of bounds of the game. So I was moving around.
Oh, you know what? Some kids were doing that last night in Rec Room.
Oh, really?
Like, we were playing dodgeball, and this stupid kid, he'd get the ball, and then he'd start like walking towards you onto your side, and it's like, how are you doing that, dude? But he'd do it like really, really slowly.
Oh, that's funny.
I bet you anything that's what he was doing.
It's that a 180 trick. Like your center of access is slightly off, so every time you flip yourself around, it's pushing you towards something because it's off. It's funny. I played the Google VR, the Google Earth VR, which is really cool.
That is such a great game. I really wish I wish they would have the better Oculus controls.
I know, it's so
because
crappy.
They didn't work that.
That's
great.
the one you have to use the hack on. And I also played Nvidia's VR playground thing that they came out with. That's actually really fun. It's a free one, but all these carnival games like shooting and boxing and all that kind of stuff. The graphics on it are really great. Yeah.
Are they? I'll have to download
then I bought...
They've got that one for Oculus, though.
Yes.
Okay. You're talking about not just
and
Steam.
I bought Serious Sam, too, which, wow.
Yeah. I think it's great. Like, from all the scenes that I've seen from it, it's cool, but like, I can't justify the $40, I just can't, especially when I've got Dead and Buried, and that's a pretty good zombie shooter.
This is different. This is a more of a gore thing with aliens coming at you and all this, and like way crazy guns. But the only thing is, it's one of those games that's like technically still in development, so they have a bunch of levels so far, but they're going to do more, but they haven't done them yet, and that kind of. I don't like that.
Oh, yeah. See, I would want to pay $40 for a finished game.
The thing is, it technically could be a finished game. Because there are a lot of levels, and there's a lot to do. It's just that they're going to add more. It's like, don't even tell me that. Just surprise me when you get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, email social. By the way, speaking of VR, Nick posted a video of us being ridiculous in Rec Room. He posted that on Twitter.
Yeah. I thought that was funny.
And me in my dress, because apparently it thinks I'm a lady.
Oh my gosh, his comment was so.
What did he say?
When he said, "I wish I could get anything but dresses," and then he responded and said, "Beautiful dresses."
That was a funny thing. I kept getting every time there was a new, like, you get a little box and it has a present in it, like you got some mail and you open it up and it's supposed to be like a new outfit or new hair. It always gives me a freaking dress every time. Like, why do you keep giving me dresses?
It's probably because you've got a whole bunch of women's stuff on. I don't know, so it assumes you're a woman.
I was wearing a tie with my dress. That's what's funny about it.
I don't know. I apparently have the most popular outfit because I saw 3 people wearing the exact same thing last night when I was playing.
Dude, charades in there is really fun. Private charades.
Yeah.
The other one is a cluster.
Private charades.
But like, if you sit down in the private room, you have to register in order to have access to private rooms. It's free, but you can go in.
Did you register?
No, I need to do that. But then you can go in. And,
it only takes a couple minutes.
So you just go in, you sit down in this little theater area, and like you and I were with David and Nick, and we were all just playing charades with the little 3D blaster gun, whatever it is. So it's pretty cool. So there are GIF cameras in there.
Yeah,
and so I was taking video and stuff, but I didn't know where it saved to. I guess Nick figured it out and he posted it. And let's see what else we got here. Shane says, "Can't wait for DFWC4D. Love you guys are growing the local scene." Beeple sent us a tweet because he saw us post that O-Toy video on Octane 4, and he's for a second I thought this was an exclusive interview you guys did with this dude, and I was like, WTF.
That would be great.
Let me see. We already talked about Chad Astley's tweet. Mr. Peanuts, always behind the computer, ready to satisfy your customers. Love it. Thanks. I was helping him with an issue. Let's see. Mark Cernozia Just got Octane really excited. How do I get the live viewer to match the picture viewer? The live viewer is always zoomed in more.
Yeah, I answered him. Basically, so you have to resize the... It's weird. Like, if you resize the vertical, that size, it doesn't change. You have to resize the horizontal size in order for it to get smaller, because the horizontal size always will be from edge to edge. So you resize the horizontal size until your red lines are there, and then you can actually click that little button to keep it at the same size. Anyway.
And then Nick said he was bringing up the fact that when you close Cinema 4D and try and open it again from the taskbar, nothing happens. In Windows 10, I've had this kind of an issue too, where it seems like Cinema, if you just leave it open for a really long time and then you come back to it, it's just locked up. It's just sitting there locked up. It's weird. You have to like kill the processes and start it over.
Yeah, I used to have that problem with at my last job. Like anytime I would close down Cinema, and I think I talked about this on an early show, like it would basically freeze up and I had to force quit it every single time. I don't know what the deal is.
Well, that about wraps it up. Did we get any iTunes reviews? Let's see.
Oh, I don't know. Let me check.
I'm looking right now.
Are you?
We did.
I bet you we didn't.
Yes.
We did. All right. How many did we get? Just one.
This is from Mark, that's who we were just talking about with the Octane window deal. Dave and Matt are great hosts and are full of insights and tips. As a longtime Cinema 4D user and recently getting Octane, I've learned a ton from listening to this podcast each week. I really enjoy the topics in the Cinema 4D and Octane area, but that's not all. They also, well, that's not all. They also discuss the entire motion graphics community, entrepreneurship, and emerging tech like VR, Ravco, and the latest motion graphics news. Ravcock. It's a great podcast, and I look forward to fresh episodes every week. Cheers. That's cool. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Mark, right now, you are the winner.
Until
we're waiting until February, right? End of February. Oh, we're doing a long one on this one. We're doing the long game.
You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review. You can subscribe to us to help get our numbers up, or subscribe to our newsletter on our site. You say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the No Brograph, No Mograph tee, which the quality is very good. Coming from Amazon.
Very good.
And we'll make sure that quality stays up to par. And we're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube and Brograph.com.
And we do plugins.
Luminous for Octane. Check it out.
For Octane. Missing that elusive spotlight for Octane? Anyway.
So we are working on some updates for that too that are going to be really cool.
Yes, I'm working on something. I just got to get
I can't tell you what it is
worked out. Should I tease it?
No, not yet.
I tease it?
Not yet, because I have some other ideas I want to throw at you for that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it is a Monday, and we still have to post the show, and we have to work.
Yeah.
So we're going to get out of here.
Yeah. That's all right. I haven't gotten any emails from the people I'm supposed to be working with today. So right now we're going to do
It's technically a holiday.
It's technically a holiday, yes.
As my friend put it on Facebook today, MLK Day is a day for white business dudes to post quotes from Martin Luther King on their LinkedIn profile.
Oh, gosh.
I was like, dang.
Wow.
I guess he's got a lot of people on his LinkedIn posting MLK quotes.
That's funny.
So anyway, until next week, have a good one. I'm Dave.
I'm Matt.
Later, bros.
Wait,
I know, I was messing with you.
Later, bros.
It's pretty good, I guess. Brograph.com, an online resource for learning critical components of Cinema 4D and After Effects, specifically catered to help you prevail as a motion graphic designer.
What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph motion graphics tutorial.
We give you professional, time-saving tips, shortcuts, and lessons that help give you an edge over your fellow designers. Not only this, but our new Brograph Talks help you in your file management, hardware configuration, and client relations.
I love projects that scare me. When our art director comes to us and asks for something that I had never done before, man, it gets me pumped.
Join us for live sessions, check out our crazy Cinema 4D experiments, or just watch our Fun with Brograph series, where we show you practical applications for techniques learned in previous tutorials. Do this from the beginning, and your client is going to respect that, and they're going to respect you, and they're going to respect your time. Subscribe today and get automatic updates on the latest tutorials, tricks, tips, and inspiration brought to you by industry professionals Dave Koss and Matt Milstead, all with a slight dash of dry humor peppered in. Real nice banana.
Brograph.com, your source for tutorials that will help you thrive in the motion graphics industry. Don't just play around with Cinema 4D and After Effects, master it, and make money by becoming indispensable at your workplace.
We don't care how you get here, folks. Just get here. Subscribe now to Brograph Tutorials. It's pretty good, I guess.